Hi, and thanks for joining us. I'm David Kasnoff, and this is the Kodak Close-Up. Change is good. Steve McCurry studied to be a filmmaker, but switched to still photography because he liked working by himself. And in a 30-year career that spans news photography, National Geographic, and his unforgettable photos of September 11, Steve's proven he made the right choice. Change is good indeed. In today's Kodak Close-Up, Steve and I talk about his use of color transparency films and his migration from Kodachrome to EKTACHROME and Portrait films to capture breathtaking color images for magazine and commercial shoots. These pictures include his award-winning Afghan girl photographs, which are among his best-known work. So join me in today's Kodak Close-Up with Steve McCurry.
I studied cinematography. I actually wanted to be a filmmaker. But and I took a lot of wonderful classes in acting and directing and stage lighting and the whole bit. But I also ended up doing some stills on a couple film productions out of Penn State. And I just fell in love with the still camera and the solitude of going out and photographing on your own on the street, coming back and editing. And there was no pressure. You just go out, nothing planned, nothing scripted. You get a 100-roll bulk of film and just roll your own. I always wanted to try and shoot projects and assignments which interested me personally. I thought, I may not make a lot of money at this game, but I at least want to be out having an adventure, having a good time, being involved in places and people and situations that I cared about and that interested me. Early on, I got a relationship with National Geographic, and most of the assignments I did for them and do for them now are proposals that I've actually written myself. The kind of pictures that I seek out are usually in kind of dark alleyways and when the light's low and in bars and monasteries where you're dealing with really low light situations. I think the big shift in digital photography has shifted so that instead of going up to, in the old days, if you went up to 1600 ISO or 6400, I mean, that was like, whoa, that was like, crazy. And now, that's pretty standard stuff. I'm often finding myself shooting at a very high ISO in a dark monastery or in some sort of alleyway or at night or somewhere where it's really dark. And the difference is that with the new technology is that you can actually stop action in those really dark situations. I don't think there's ever been in the history of photography a better film, a better way to actually look at the world than with Kodachrome 64 or 25. Of course, that's gone, and Kodachrome 200. These were, this was the only way I shot for decades. I have an archive of somewhere between 800 and 1 million transparencies in my studio, and probably 90% of that is on Kodachrome. When I started freelancing in 1978, I went to India with basically a one-way ticket and a few $1,000s, and I had 2 suitcases. One suitcase was full of clothes, and the other suitcase was full of 250 rolls of Kodachrome. Even till today, you can't make a better picture on any film or digital. I mean, Kodachrome's really the kind of standard. It's the best. It's the gold standard of imagery. I was up in Rochester some years ago, and I went through the processing plant, and it's just blows your mind at how complicated it is to actually make this film. Well, it turns out that the economics of the situation are just obvious, and you can't manufacture and have a line, a product line with perhaps dozens of people, trying to make a living and sell 30 rolls of film. It's just not happening. It's impossible. Somewhere along the line, things turned around, and those EKTACHROME films, the E100 and some of the other films, actually are spectacular. The colors are as true as when I first shot them. I just recently shot a whole assignment for Toyota, traveling around the country, and all I used was the portrait color neg film. It was great. My picture of the Afghan girl back in 1984, I photographed with Kodachrome 64. And when I went back and we found her, all those pictures of the Afghan girl found were made on EKTACHROME, the E100 film. I mean, they're both excellent. I mean, put the two frames side by side or the two prints side by side, and they look great. So that's a wonderful film. I still, in fact, still use it on occasion, and it's it's improved over the years in a dramatic way. I would hope that my legacy is I documented and traveled and photographed in parts of the world which have changed forever, and the beauty and some of the culture which has vanished now, whether it's how people dress or how they live or the architecture, a lot of that which I documented 30 years ago or whatever, it's just gone, never to be repeated, never to come back again. It's just vanished. And it was wonderful. There was a lot of poetry and these types of cultural things. And I find it very sad that it's gone, but I think to have documented it and to be able to look back in the pictures and be able to appreciate it and to have that memory of that beauty or that way of life or whatever is really important. And I'm happy and grateful I had the opportunity to do it.